Hello YouTube, it's Video Game House here today with another deck profile video that I think you guys might enjoy. I personally thoroughly enjoyed this. With the beginning of Black and White, this deck seems to be doing a lot more than I ever expected it to. I thought it was funny fire deck go burr, and it actually turned out to be incredibly strong, go figure, against some of the top meta competitive decks that are going on right now if you've been playing TCG Live almost at all. Let me go over each and every aspect of the deck, and I'll let you guys know what I feel this deck could do moving forward, and how to basically play it. We're going to go into some gameplay footage that I have of playing this deck to give you guys a better idea, and I'm sure that there will be people who crack the code on this deck to make it even stronger. But really, you can see how few cards are actually in this list, because it's so straightforward that you do not need to think that hard in order to make this thing work. There's only a few things where you have to actually think about. Mainly the Ho-Oh ability states that you can only equip 2 fire energies from your hand onto your Ethan's benched Pokemon, not on the active. So you have to make sure you put cards out in the proper order in order to make certain plays work, because if you don't, then obviously you may accidentally retreat first, bring in the wrong guy, and then all of a sudden you can't put energies on it because it's in the active, and it becomes a whole mess, and you can easily make some mistakes doing that. I know I did during testing because I didn't know what Ethan's Ho did at first, so let me go over it so you guys don't make that same mistake. Now, first off, we run the 4 Ethan's Slugma. Unfortunately, 80 HP, so it's not buddy poffinable, but still, the deck seems to just churn out cards in order to make it all work anyway, so you don't really need to worry about buddy poffin almost at all. 2 cost retreat, pretty bad, so we do have to work on that, but Ethan's Magcargo has a wonderful ability known as Melt Away. Now, Melt Away is if this Pokemon has no energy attached to it, it has no retreat cost. And its ability, sorry, not its ability, but its attack, Lava Burst, does 70 times the amount of fire energy you discard from this Pokemon, up to 5. So its maximum damage is only set to 350. I say only, and that's only because Cynthia's Garchomp technically can go all the way up to 400, so it's not a very good matchup to deal with certain damaging hits, but if that's our biggest concern, we shouldn't have to worry about Cynthia's Garchomp all that much. Now, the reason this is called Ethan's Firebox is because of Ho-Oh EX. Using the ability Golden Flame, like I stated earlier, it's an ability that takes up to 2 fire energy from your hand, and you can place them on your Ethan's cards on your bench, so you're able to set up your Magcargo very quickly. With a normal attach and an ability attach, you can get 3 energies on Magcargo, and Magcargo is able to swing in for 210 damage. If you can get a 4th energy from 2 Ho-Ohs, or, you know, if it already had an energy on it, or up to 5, you can hit 70, 140, 210, 280, or 350. And being that most of the bigger decks in the format right now, Grimmsnarl at 320, Dragapult 320, Guardian at 310. Every big Pokemon is able to get blasted with 5 damage on a single prize Pokemon with 5 energy can knock out any 2 prizer in the top meta competitive decks. We also do run an Ethan's Pinsir. Funny enough, it is an answer for certain things, and I will be showing that off in the video. It has a 70 attack, plus if one of your Ethan's Pokemon got knocked out a turn prior, it can hit an extra 100 damage. And because it's specifically 70 plus 100, you're hitting 170 damage total. And when you hit for weakness, that's 340 damage, which is Grimmsnarl one-shotting. So you do have options to still get one-shots on Pokemon, even if you don't have Magcargo set up. You can set up a 3-energy Pinsir to one-shot Grimmsnarl and other Pokemon weak to grass. We run Mew EX, obviously for its restart ability, but also because it has a free retreat, so if one of your Pokemon get knocked out, you can bring up the Mew, which allows you to use the Ethan's Ho-Oh EX to set up your Pokemon on the bench before you freely retreat and bring out a Magcargo, that when you get rid of all of its energies, you're able to retreat that next time too. Very good to play. Sensitivity is self-explanatory if you don't know what it does. If it's on the board and one of your Pokemon are knocked out on the last turn, you can draw 3 cards. And the deck, honestly, from there, is really self-explanatory. 4 Iono. 4 Research. 3 bosses, because obviously if we don't have enough to take out the guy that's in front of us, we can use a boss to bring in something else and take out what's in front of us. Ethan's Adventure, if you don't know what that does, for those of you who don't use Ethan's decks, Ethan's Adventure allows you to search your deck for up to 3 in any combination of Ethan's Pokemon and fire energy and add them to your hand. A lot of the times when I use this, I very rarely ever had to search for a Pokemon rather than just getting 3 energies and using Ho to slap them on the board. Earthen Vessel, again, just because we can get energy very, very quickly, because we have super massive energy acceleration by just slapping 3 Ho's on the board, we can just put down 6 energy in one move, so Earthen Vessel, very, very good. Nest Ball, because every single card in this deck needs a Nest Ball to search it out, so Nest Ball, good. Unfortunately, Ho-Oh is a 2 energy retreat cost, and Magcargo with 1 energy on it becomes a 3 energy retreat cost in total, and Pinsir also 2 energy retreat costs. So we run 3 switches, and we do run 2 air balloons to allow us to retreat. The biggest thought process is trying to not waste those switches, because a lot of people will use the defensive play of bringing a Ho-Oh EX up from the bench onto the active spot, and if you don't have a air balloon or a switch in tow, they will lock it up there, and it does give them like usually 2 turns to try and get their footing back. We run the 2 of Superior Energy Retrieval. Funny enough, you do not need more than 2, because it just seems to work with 2 more than like 3 or 4. 3 or 4 clogged it up for some reason, so 2 just ended up being the magic number. 2 Ultra Ball, a Pokegear. That was a stadium card, but I found the stadium that I was using, which was Team Rocket's the Team Rocket Stadium, to stop the normal Pokemon abilities. Never really did anything this format so far, so I just kind of split it for a Pokegear just to have a higher % chance of hitting things like Iono and Research, but that one definitely is totally up to debate on whether or not you want to change it. And funny enough, we're using the 1 of Max Rod Ace Spec. I know it's an Ace Spec no one has ever used before. It's amazing. But it allows you to get back in any combination of Pokemon and energies from your discard, basic energies, from your discard pile and put them back into your hand. And again, with this deck, because Ho just slaps energies on the board, if you have like 2 Ho's on the board, you can go Max Rod, 4 energies for no cost, back to your hand, only to just put them back down. So like, when you use Magcargo to swing and discard 5 energies to do 350, Max Rod can get you 4 of those back just to put them back down on the board. And if Magcargo's still there, you can just retreat for free. So like, 1 prizer for 2 prizer is very good for trades. We're going to get into the gameplay footage. I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay footage while I do some commentary over it, and let us get right into it. All right, and once again, these are taken from my streams. We stream here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. We were doing an event stream earlier in the day where we were actually giving away hundreds of codes to those who joined our event stream. So those are always implemented in my stream Discord. So the Discord link will be down below in case you guys ever want to come in. We do streamer versus viewer for codes. We do event giveaway for codes. And we do big event giveaways once every month where we give away hundreds of codes. So make sure you mark your calendars on that. Check out the Discord if you guys have the time. Let's get into some gameplay footage. If you see me, that behind me right there, that's me of the past. You can ignore him. He's old. So let's get into some gameplay and see what we did. All right, and like I said, these are from earlier streams and such. So like you can see that little right thing right there, that's just for like, that was from the event. So you can ignore this as well. This I could not get rid of. So this was our start hand. We run into a Mew EX as our active into a, what everyone pretty much was sure of during the original filming of this guy, was a Duskull Dragapult without even like looking at the rest of the deck. When you see Duskull, it's basically just that. We're able to set up pretty good on our opening frame with the Ho-Oh with nothing else, but our opponent was just nice to us and gave us a free Iono when we were at 2 cards. Yeah, our turn looks pretty nice with the extra Earthen Vessel. We can get rid of extra energies because we have the Max Rod in hand, so we're just going to set up an attacker so we can actually start doing some work on this board. We're just checking our discard to see if Max Rod is even worth using and make the decision that it is. Whether or not our opponent's going to give it to us, we wanted to set up Mew EX. If I had to, I could always take that Dragapult attack to do 200 to split damage onto the bench. Make things a little bit easier for us. As you guys see, he brought up Slugma as an option to try and stall me out, and then brought up a Bidoof to item lock me. So again, I, get locked out of certain things like items. Luckily for me, Magcargo is a very easy option here. to bring out, because free retreat option, because I have no energies on it, allows me to bring my Ho-Oh back up to the active. My mistake here was putting down my backup Ho-Oh EX because of exactly what I said during the deck profile. Is it's used as a defensive play where your opponent will just take your Ho-Oh that has 2 energy retreat costs, and if you don't have an answer to getting it out of the active, what are you going to do? And unfortunately for me, I did not have an answer for it. So I'm just going to be setting up Magcargo number 2 and then just try and get energy on the board as much as possible to hopefully retreat out later. Like we're just trying to find options to hopefully, because we do run 3 switches and 2 air balloons. We've already used 1, so we still have 4 switches in the deck. We're trying to empty our hand for Mew EX to trigger a few times, so hopefully get some more cards. I wasn't entirely sure as to what my opponent was pretty much thinking here, but it's another instance of, if you're running a unique deck like Ethan's Ho-Oh, people don't really read the cards. They just know it does X amount of damage and say that's good enough. So, similar to, what we were looking at here, Ho-Oh's attack isn't just do 160. And he's not just, set up energy on the board. He actually is an attacker that is great into the Grimmsnarl matchup because he hits for 160, but he heals 50 to all of your Pokemon. So even if your opponent's trying to use ping damage, Frostlass, Grimmsnarl, ping for 30, I don't know, Zacian, I guess, ping for 30, anything that pings for extra damage, if you set up a Ho-Oh, you can just go into Ho-Oh EX into attack for 160 to remove up to 50 damage from all your Pokemon, and that usually just stops any kind of gameplay. Obviously, if you have to swing first, because 2 hits into a Grimmsnarl will knock it out, but if they hit you and then you hit them back, they take you out. So, but like I said though, healing for 50, you never have to worry about damage counters, really. That's just some more knowledge for you guys to think about in terms of like ability, really. We were able to heal our Pokemon, take out our Dragapult, and now we're ahead 2 to 4 or 5 maybe. I think it's 5. It's 5. 2 to 5, and with that kind of a setup, we just have to find a 2 prizer and take it out. And there's already a Latias and a Pheasantipity there with 210, which is just 3 energy Magcargo. We have 2 Magcargos with 2 energy. So we're kind of sitting pretty. Another wonderful thing about the deck is because we run so many research, so many Ionos, and just like good hand resets, even getting hit by an Iono to a 1 or 2, there's a pretty good chance we just get hit by research into the, the triple switch is pretty nice too. So yeah, this was just me looking to find a way to get energies back at this point because we have everything set up and just do big damage. Easy. Dragapult, not a threat. How funny is that? We don't care. Dragapult can't ping us for big damage when, we can heal from the pings, and we can just send in a single prizer to take out a 2 prizer. It's fantastic. And funny enough, this is also a format where this deck also does well going first or second. I still, even after so much gameplay of this and so much time put into the deck, I still can't tell whether going first or second really matters. It really depends on what the matchup is. This is another deck that so many people, including myself, is just painful to see in the game. We ran into Cornerstone Mask Crustle. So, similar to Iron Thorns, just not the same. It can block the ability Pokemon, and it can just block EX Pokemon. Unfortunately for our opponent, Magcargo is, well, not an EX, so Crustle becomes dead to him. And, like I said earlier, very few instances does one specific Pokemon get value in this deck. And this is going to be the game where it finds value. Unfortunately, I put the pincer down here. This is my fault. I have Ultra Balls, I have Researches, I have Ionos. I have no reason to place this pincer onto the board, and I did. And my opponent immediately saw that as a problem because he realizes Magcargo has an ability and Ho-Oh has an ability. So they cannot hit Ogerpon, but pincer can. And I didn't need to put it on the board because I have 2 Ho-Ohs. I can easily put 3 energies on the board at the same time. There was no reason for me to do what I did. So this is my fault. I am going to look at my discard pile looking for the max rod to try and get certain cards back because I've realized there's no super rods, there's no night stretchers, there is just 1 max rod in the entirety of the deck to go get our Ethan's pincer back. And, well, we got it. So, we got it, and we knew we could set it up in a singular turn with 4 energies, so we go 3 energies on that, 1 more energy on the Magcargo, manually forced to retreat, only to bring up the Rallying Horn. Because they took a knockout on the previous turn, which, funny enough, was the Pinsir, it's able to hit for 170, which doubles, because of weakness, to take out the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. And basically, from there, my opponent was unable to do anything besides struggle, because we don't need Pinsir anymore, so long as we don't see very much specifically another Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. Pinsir becomes less useful. But we are going to try and still set up Ho-Oh, because we still have options to, Magcargo, because we still have options with, like, Switch and Air Balloon, like I stated. 5 Switch options in a deck, and being able to reset your hand multiple times. Pretty useful, because yes, your opponent's always going to try and target that Ho-Oh as a defensive play, so it's sometimes good to add at least 1 energy onto the Ho-Ohs on the bench, just so you have the easy way out. And just bring out the Magcargo that's able to just swing for 1. 2 energy, I think it is. 2 energies to get knockout. The reason we discarded the third is because it has a free retreat cost if we do. So we have the opportunity to set up the bench to Magcargo with energy, and then use the free retreat Magcargo in the active to bring the energy up Magcargo on from the bench back into the active space. So again, my opponent has used boss's orders to lock in another Pokemon into the active. And I don't know how many times I'm going to have to find a Switch card or an Air Balloon to get out of it. So we're just going to start setting up the Ho-Oh in the active with energies, so that way we can still abuse the power that we have. We're checking discard to see if my opponent has anything, and he noticed that I'm trying to set up my Ho-Oh to retreat. So he brings up another Pokemon instead. I wasn't quite sure what the Pinsir was for, like why would he bring it up? I think he wanted me to attack here, and I just fell into the trap. Because I figured, okay, I can attack here and just not worry about more setup play. But I could have put just 2 energy down and, like, Earthen Vessel. I don't remember if I had more energy that I haven't found yet, but I'm pretty sure I did. I hope I look at my own discard pile, because I don't remember if I did or not. But, yeah, he just took away the 60 damage from me and put it back on the Pinsir, and I figured, oh, wait, if I do that, it's a problem. Yeah, so I had no energy left. Never mind. So I had to, like, save my energy so that way I could attack with it or find ways to get it back, and just started passing turns. And he's just not going to be able to do much at all. We're looking for answers here, so we just start using Golden Flame, Research, because we're looking for options here, and we're just trying to get, the superior energy retrieval, which we were able to find. Using Golden Flame, we're able to get more energies on the board. Get that free retreat in case I need to use the Pinsir as an attacker. I am able to now, and we're able to now knock out Munkidori, start removing damage counters, and my opponent ran out of bosses, ran out of counter catchers, or whatever it may have been, but we had an option to get out of it. So we were able to fix it. Like I said, superior energy retrieval only needs to be at a 1 or a 2 count, a 2 count, because 1 wasn't enough, and 3 kind of felt like it was getting stuck in my hand often. So 2 just felt like the magic number, and it seems to work. So we got hit by that Iono into nothingness. I kind of figured, like, okay, he was going to do the Dwebble into Ascension into setup play, but, like, we just drew into the Ethan's Adventure, which is great because, Magcargo just needs 3 energies to attack, which we got exactly 3 energies. Retreat for manual cost and just blow it away. It felt so therapeutic, just demolishing Crustle. I could have played it better, don't get me wrong. There was plenty of times where I could have played it better, but it was still one of my first games against a deck that I do not like. So you still have to finagle things in that matchup, but you are able to just beat the daylights out of it. And a normal Crustle deck is using Iron Thorns Crustle and not Cornerstone Crustle. And Iron Thorns is no match to the amount of damage that Magcargo can pull off. And its Crustle is just not an issue when you have Magcargo in general. So normally not a threat. So I'm looking at my board state. I can see, like, this is Maractus, Grimmsnarl, Munkidori, Frostlass, and I'm just, like, looking at the board state and figuring, what do I even do to to corner Maractus. It was really funny because like when I thought about it, I'm like, corner Maractus is going to be a real problem if he locks in something I can't attack with or something. Only to realize that like it doesn't fucking matter. We have 3 switches and 2 air balloons. Like, yes, corner stops air balloon, but we have 3 switches in the deck. So like if you just play smart, it's pretty easy. Like the biggest threat that I really had was the fact that he was setting up the damage counters along with everything else. So we just need to start making a workaround. So yeah, we get our Maractus on the board. We get our Macargo on the board. We get another Macargo on the board. We get all these energies to work with. Dumpster energy, get more energies using the Ethan's Ho-Oh to get energies set up on Ethan's Ho-Oh. Draw more. We're cornered, so we can't realistically retreat, but I have a Ho-Oh that has 4 energies, so we can manually retreat with that if we have to. And we have a Ho-Oh that has a balloon, so that is also a free retreat. And again, I definitely kind of feel as if there was a situation again where my opponent just didn't really read the card. Yeah, I removed this just so I can get more energies out, check my deck to make sure there's more max energies. Golden Flame sets up the other one, hits a draw 7, hits the switch, brings up the thing, and now, because my opponent's able to spread damage, that's cool and all. Yeah, we had 2 Pokemon with 50 damage on them because of spread damage, and now we have 0 Pokemon on the board with any damage on them, except for our active. So, yes, Grimmsnarl does grant them access to knocking out our active, but we have Macargo with 0, energy on it. That's a free retreater. We have Mew EX with 0 energy on it. Also a free retreat. So we can just set up, a bunch of energy on the bench and just call it a day. We do see that this Frostlass is going to be causing a bit of a trouble for us, and we hate that. So we just want to get rid of it. Since then, it's going to take them a long time to set up another one, which we will just snowball into winning the game. We're just going to take Shining Feathers. All of our Pokemon are at full health again, except for the active one, like I said before. But, like, without a Frostlass, he has got 3 dead Monkey-Dories that don't do much of anything at all, except can barely move the damage counters over. But like I said already, he got the Grimmsnarl. I'm 2 prizes ahead. Oh no, what do we do? I don't care. I think he might have actually put it in his head that Ho-Oh is the attacker, and not that I could just do this. Like, energies, free retreat, Macargo. Macargo go burr. Just checking everything else to see if, like, should I use Ethan's? Should I use these things? Just to get cards out of the deck. Now we have 3 Macargos, multiple free retreat pieces. I had a manual attached there that I didn't even do because I was like, the game is over. Like, yeah, you have another Morgrem. I have 2 Ho-Ohs on the board, 2 Ho-Ohs in my hand, 3 Pokemon with a free retreat cost, and a research along with 3 energies. Like, we're good. Like, even an Iono play is not enough to stop me. Just like, what are you gonna do, So he actually gets the Morgrem back because he's just trying to, like, stop me from taking knockouts, and we're just gonna be setting things up at this point where it's not changing much of anything at all. Just looking at our deck to see what we have. We have another ace. We have another balloon. We were just trying to get it off. We find a switch. Gets rid of all of my damage counters again. Legitimately, we've just removed... I don't even know how much total damage we removed, but if there was a health counter, it'd be great to see how much we healed. But we have healed off all these damage counters so many times. I think my opponent tried to set up another Frostlass and just never had it. And like I said before, like, we're at a 4-card to 1-card deficit. If we get hit with Iono, it's like, okay, who cares? If we get hit with, like, we have so many things already set up and 6 cards left in our deck. Like, I think at this point we actually checked how many, like, researches we had versus Ionos we had to see how many we would draw into with just a +1 draw, a restart, and then, like, if we found a supporter, like, would we be able to find all these things? I use bosses because I only need 1 prize, but I just didn't like the snow run, so I targeted that. But yeah, it really is so simple to just stop Frostlass in its tracks. As long as you set up a Ho-Oh, you're able to just stop the Frostlass damage. If they move Monkey-Dory damage, it's like, okay, well, you've moved 3 Monkey-Dories for +9, and Frostlass did 1 more damage. So I'm going to use my attack, heal for half of that, and now you have just no damage left. So, and something goes down. And this is one of the top meta decks currently. In the tournament for Blue for Redacted that happened on Saturday, there was over 300 players, and a good, I think, almost 13% of the tournament, which was 40 decks, by the way. The first most used tournament deck was Gholdengo. So, this is a good experience to show you guys how positive the matchup really is. Because yes, they could have a bunch of draw power, they could have a bunch of whatever. Magcargo slaps, dude. If you only need 2 energy, like Magcargo needs 3 energy to attack, but you only need to discard 2 energy technically in order to make Magcargo one-shot a Gholdengo. And like, since that is the attacker, if you really wanted to go after it, you could go trade 2-prizer, 2-prizer, 2-prizer with Gholdengo, but you have to get like a boss's orders or like a counter catcher and be behind the entire game just to go get a Ho-Oh to knock it out, knock it out, knock it out. And you don't even have to play it. Like, if I know what the option is for my opponent to win, you take out 2 of my Ho-Ohs, okay, I just force you to take out 2 Magcargo. And if you don't do that, I can just wait until the last turn where I can knock you out, play all my Ho-Ohs down, activate all their abilities to get my energies back, and then just slap. I wasn't sure, honestly, to be here, I was not sure whether or not if I should just attack the Gimme Ghoul and knock it out, or if I should have left it. Because taking the 1-prizer doesn't change anything really here, except giving my opponent the access to using counter catcher. So it does overall suck. And I don't know if my opponent didn't know they didn't go first or something, but they did use their ace spec. If I had an Iono like hit here, I could have won like turn 1 because they would just use their ace spec and I just go cool Iono and then just put all of his energies to the bottom of the deck and he would have realistically no way to immediately get them back. So again, it's just like the stadium's not doing anything. You've seen it, like I think every match you've seen it. If nothing else, it was just a bump for my opponent's stadium, but never really like doing anything. So that's why we cut it for the Pokegear 3.0. Because if that was Pokegear 3.0 and we used it and hit an Iono, dude, game would have been over. But as you see, my opponent is just kind of setting up here. We had 3 energies in the deck overall, or on the board overall. We only had to discard 1, and we have the Superior and the Mew. So we have options to get our energies back to just make Magcargo swing. I did make a slight miscalculation here. I had no reason to put the Magcargo with free retreat into the active, because I just need 1 energy to attack with Magcargo. Just got my energy back. I want to just use the cards. Since I was going to use research anyway, I didn't want to like waste the cards in my hand, so I used them. And we just have plenty to work with here. Yes, I wanted to hold the Iono because like it made sense, but I also said, hey, wait, he's already got enough energy, discarded energy, and he's got, you know, plus 2 Dango in the active, plus Dango on the bench, plus Dango on the bench, plus Rev of Room potentially to draw up to 6. So I figured Iono didn't make as much sense anymore. So we just let him have what he had, because sure, you can take out a Magcargo, you can take out Ho-Ohs, but like Magcargo equals 1-prizer into 2-prizer, making it such an advantage play to you. Because if my opponent can't play another supporter besides boss's orders to take a 2-prize knockout, you're in such a advantageous state. I think, again, if somebody practices this deck and understands the matchups, highly suggested, don't take a 1-prizer against Gholdengo, because their big attacker is always the 2-prizer. So, like, wait till they go 2-prizer and then take them out. So even if they try and prize trade you or something like that, you know, 2 for 2, they'll never be able to use a counter catcher. So, like, you always get the advantage on that play. Like, that's just me, you know? That's just me. It's very easy to play against Gholdengo, and it's one of the top meta competitors. We unfortunately, I don't think we had any Gardevoir yet, but I still kind of feel like this deck could probably outplay Gardevoir using researches and Ionas and stuff like that. It's also really funny. You see right there in his discard up there, that is an Ace Nullifier Genesect he threw away with an Ultra Ball, and my Ace spec is right there. So, like, if he played it and tooled it, man, I would have been in trouble. But he just ignores it, so we're down to 3 versus 4 on the prize trade, like I said. So, I set it up this way because if he bosses orders my Ho-Oh and takes it out, he needs 2 prizes. But that means he'll leave him a Magcargo with 2 energies on it. So all I'd have to do is go, okay, and Magcargo to active, gives it 1 energy, trades into a Gholdengo, and all I have left on my board is Magcargo, and right there is a Slugma, but my Max Rod brings it up to another Magcargo, and it will not matter. Because then I would just wait until the other Gholdengo comes down, and then just go, sweet, throw down Ho-Oh, activate all of my abilities to get energies on the Magcargo, freely bring up the Magcargo, and then just slap the Gholdengo anyway. We were so positive on this turn that it didn't matter the play in the future, if that makes sense. We did not care where it went because we always had we always had the win like 3 turns in advance. That's how confident we are with this deck. This deck can win pretty much every matchup that I've found thus far. Surely it's difficult in some matchups, but there really isn't a competitive water deck right now. So the weakness, abuse doesn't really happen. A lot of decks can still one-shot Ho-Oh, can still one-shot Magcargo, but since your main attacker is usually Magcargo, if you hit a double prizer deck, Magcargo into a single prize versus a double prize, which is mainly the meta right now, it's 1 prizer against a 2 prizer. You take 2 every time they take 1 for an attacker, but you have plenty of time to set up a bunch of stage 1 Magcargos to just smack back. Superior gets your energies back, Max gets your energies back, and you're able to just put all of them down at once. So, once again, I will bring up the list to show you guys the deck list. If you guys want to try it out, feel free. The deck list will also be in the link down below, so you guys can take a look at it. Highly suggested, highly believe that it can do a lot this meta right now, especially because Gholdengo is so big right now and popular. It's got positive plays into Raging Bolt, positive into Grimmsnarl, positive into Dragapult. You guys saw it all here. Positive into one of the most annoying decks in the format, that Crustle. Everyone hates that, I'm sure. If you hate Crustle, comment down below how much you hate Crustle. You have positive win rates into most things. So I think this deck can do really, really well. Personally loved it when I was playing it. Personally believe it's good. So tell me what you guys think down below. Tell me what you guys think you should change in the deck that could make it either more consistent or maybe a little bit more flexible, because it really is a very straightforward deck. The deck is very brain dead, but I love that. So remember, like, comment, subscribe, help me with the algorithm. I want to make this deck bigger, and I would love to hopefully get some more followers at us, Self-plug. Yay! Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one.